The presidential ketchup boat is filled to the brim and ready to go. This morning on the freshly paved over Rose Garden, our commander-in-chief presided over an important American tradition, the annual pardon of the turkeys, which at this point are the only thing Trump hasn't pardoned this year. These are the birds that were spared. Their names are Gobble and Waddle, which is what Trump does every night at dinner. Gobble and Waddle. Thank you.
This was a disastrous landing back to Florida as Donald Trump fled Washington, D.C. This is the height of Donald Trump being deranged. While he was on Air Force One, he was asked, "Hey, Donald, people are heading into Thanksgiving, feeling very worried. Will you just agree to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies so people aren't worried that they're going to lose their health care, Donald?" And he goes, "Nope. I don't want that. I don't want to extend the health care subsidies. I don't like that at all. I don't want to do it." Watch what he says on Air Force One. Play this clip.
Are you planning to extend those subsidies?
I'd rather not. Somebody said I want to extend them for 2 years. I don't want to extend them for 2 years. I'd rather not extend them at all.
Will you do this?
It may be some kind of an extension may be necessary to get something else done, because the Unaffordable Care Act has been a disaster. It's a disaster. And I said it was when it first got put in. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of Republican votes, and the Democrats voted for it. It's a Democrat plan. And the premiums are going up, and it's the Democrats' fault. But, you know, they are negotiating with me. It's very interesting. They want to see something happen.
Who are you talking to on the
I can't tell
Democrats
you
side?
who, but we have a lot of Democrats want this plan to happen. They would love to see the money go to the people, and the people go out and get their own health care. And there would be nothing like it.
President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet.
You know what's more terrifying than the Terminator hunting you down? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jimmy Kimmel teaming up to roast you on national television, and Donald Trump found that out the hard way again and again and again. This isn't just about one viral moment. This is about years of Arnold absolutely demolishing Trump with some of the most savage takedowns in political history, and Kimmel giving him the perfect stage to do it. We're talking about a bodybuilding legend who became governor, telling a sitting president he looks like a little wet noodle.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling.
I like when he takes us inside his relationship. Darling, why do you throw up when I open my robe? Why do you do it, darling?
Hey Donald, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again.
As Congresswoman Kathy Castor says, got it, right before Thanksgiving, healthcare for 20 million Americans isn't your priority on your way to your resort that's being funded by the taxpayers. Then Donald Trump is asked a question about Ukraine. Do you think that Ukraine was being asked to give up too much land back to Russia, basically all of eastern Ukraine? Then Donald Trump just spews the Russian propaganda, which shouldn't surprise us at this point because Trump and his whole regime is compromised by Putin. And Donald Trump says, I don't think so. One way or another, he says, Putin's going to take over Ukraine regardless. So I guess Ukraine can do whatever it wants. Here, play this clip.
Do you think that Ukraine was being asked to give too much land back to Russia? I know at one point you said they shouldn't have to give any back.
It's really up. Look, the way it's going, if you look, it's just moving in one direction. So eventually that's land that over the next couple of months might be gotten by Russia anyway. So do you want to fight and lose another 50, 60,000 people? Or do you want to do something now? In some cases, the land is going in the other direction. So they're negotiating. They're trying to get it done. You want to have a border. You can't have a border that goes through a highway or a border that goes through the middle of a town. So that doesn't work. So it's a long, complicated process. And very, very sad because so many people are being killed.
We're talking about late night television moments that had Trump rage posting at 3 a.m. And we're talking about a feud that started over TV ratings and ended with Arnold literally holding up a sword and calling Trump the worst president in American history. Let me take you through this entire saga, because trust me, you haven't heard the full story. And before we dive in, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because we're about to expose some moments that mainstream media completely glossed over. The Apprentice feud that started it all. So here's where this whole thing began. January 2017. Trump's about to be inaugurated as president, and what does he do? Does he focus on, I don't know, running the country? Nope. He's on Twitter attacking Arnold Schwarzenegger's TV ratings.
I want to ask you a quick question about Donald Trump, because you guys both hosted The Apprentice. You don't necessarily see eye to eye on most things. He listed his weight at 215 pounds. You are one of the foremost experts on the male physique, bodybuilding, etc. When you size him up, what would you guess that man weighs?
You know, I don't really know how much he weighs. I can tell you one thing, that if you would ask me what should you do for fitness, I would just say run around yourself 3 times. You're going to be in great shape.
Now, most presidents at the turkey pardon keep it light. They make a few bad puns, they wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and they go back to work. But that's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump used the opportunity to brag about all the wars he's ending, how low his imaginary prices are now, and out of nowhere took shots at the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois.
The mayor was a low IQ person. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I mean, seriously, though. He says a lot of crazy stuff. In that same press conference, he said there have been no murders in Washington, D.C. in the last 6 months because of him. There have been 62 murders in Washington, which already indicates a vivid imagination. But does he really look at himself in the mirror and go, I am thin? I am so thin, I can comment on others who aren't.
So, Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker and size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight. But I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or short-term memory loss. Either way, he really captures the spirit of Thanksgiving. And then the president pardoned the birds as only he can.
Looks like a rather violent bird.
And it should be noted that Ukraine has repelled Russia by and large from when the initial invasion took place, and Russia has barely taken territory thanks to the courage of the incredible Ukrainian army, notwithstanding Donald Trump's effort each and every time to represent the interest of Putin to try to topple Zelensky. But Zelensky and his European allies have stayed strong. Another reporter asked Donald Trump, so are you going to unveil a healthcare plan anytime soon? Because, again, the American people are worried, and you keep on saying 2 weeks. You've been saying that since your first administration. Then Donald Trump goes, well, we're looking into concepts. We're looking into alternatives to Obamacare. And he goes, you know, I just think that we should just not pay insurance companies. That's my plan. Let's just give people a check. That's not even a plan. What does that even mean? Do you know the way health insurance works? What happens? Let's just say you give somebody a $2,000 check and then the healthcare cost is tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars or potentially millions of dollars with a procedure. Then what do? Do you not even know the way health insurance works? Do you not even understand the way risk pools work? You don't, because you've never had to deal with these issues in your life because you were born with a golden spoon in your mouth while the American people have had to deal with this. You're so out of touch in your con artist fraud land that you don't know what the American people go through. Here, play this clip.
Arnold had taken over hosting duties on Celebrity Apprentice after Trump left to run for president, and Trump could not let it go. On January 6th, 2017, Trump tweeted, and I'm not making this up, wow, the ratings are in and Arnold Schwarzenegger got swamped, or destroyed, by comparison to the ratings machine, DJT. The ratings machine. He called himself the ratings machine. The president-elect of the United States was bragging about reality TV ratings. But it gets better. February 2nd, 2017. Trump's at the National Prayer Breakfast. You know that event where presidents are supposed to promote unity and faith?
That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do, rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Arnold, don't hard to play. Anyway, are you ready? Beautiful. Nice. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
There you go. All right. In 6 months, when they're indicted for crypto fraud, he'll say he never met them. Uncle Scam also treated the gathered crowd to a fairy tale about how low the price of food is now since he took office.
Walmart announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal is 25% lower. The price of Thanksgiving turkey is down 33% from its Biden-era highs. Potatoes are down 13%, and gasoline will soon be hovering around $2 a gallon.
Yeah. Just like your weight is hovering around 175. I mean, the fact...
Mr. President, are you planning to unveil a health care plan anytime soon?
Well, we're looking at different alternatives. I mean, I like my plan the best. Don't give any money to the insurance companies. Give it to the people directly. Let them go out and buy their own health care plan. And we're looking at that. If that can work, we're looking at that. That's sort of taking off. That's what I like. Don't give the money to the insurance companies. They go out and buy their own plan. You give the money to the people. I like it the best.
So then a reporter asked Donald Trump, are you worried that Witkoff may be a little bit too pro-Russian? And this question also follows that incredible Bloomberg report. Those reporters at Bloomberg are getting incredible scoops. They got that October 14th audio of Witkoff and some of the top Putin officials. I'll get to more of that in just a moment, where Witkoff was rooting for Putin in him. He was basically serving the interests of Putin. He was telling him, here's what you got to say to Donald Trump. Here's how you got to do it. And it was clear from the audio that the so-called peace plan was a surrender plan handed over by Russia. I mean, we actually have the transcript where Russia hands over the plan. Here's what Donald Trump says, though. He goes, nah, I'm not worried about Witkoff. He goes, that's how you negotiate deals. You go to this side, you go to that side. That's what deal making is all about. Here, play this clip.
Trump used it to trash Arnold's TV show. He told the crowd, they hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster. Then he actually said this, I want to just pray for Arnold, if we can, for those ratings. At the National Prayer Breakfast, he asked religious leaders to pray for TV ratings. Arnold's response? Legendary. Within hours, he posted a video saying, hey Donald, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV since you're such an expert in ratings, and I'll take over your job, and then people can finally sleep comfortably again. The crowd went wild, Twitter exploded, and Trump, he kept attacking.
Our democracy has been tempered by wars, injustices, and insurrections. I believe, as shaken as we are by the events of recent days, we will come out stronger because we now understand what can be lost. We need reforms, of course, so that this never ever happens again. We need to hold accountable the people that brought us to this unforgivable point. And we need to look past ourselves, our parties and disagreements, and put our democracy first. And we need to heal together from the drama of what has just happened. We need to heal not as Republicans or as Democrats, but as Americans. Now, to begin this process, no matter what your political affiliation is, I ask you to join me in saying to President-elect Biden, President-elect Biden, we wish you great success as our president. If you succeed, our nation succeeds. We support you with all our hearts as you seek to bring us together. And to those who think they can overturn the United States Constitution, know this: you will never win. President-elect Biden, we stand with you today, tomorrow, and forever in defense of our democracy from those who would threaten it. May God bless all of you, and may God bless America.
I guess in a way, the fact that he thinks he's thin enough to make fun of fat people makes it easier to understand why he thinks we think gas costs $2 a gallon, which it does not. In fact, if you're on the road and you see a sign that says gas $2 a gallon over the break, do me a favor and post that with the hashtag gasolini, because, I mean, he says it's $2 a gallon. It must be true. They say this Thanksgiving could see the most travel in 15 years. AAA says there will be at least 73 million people on the road this year, which is interesting because how could they possibly know that? How do they know how many of us are going to be on the road? Are they counting dads sighing at gas stations? What data points could the people who send you a tow truck every 18 months have to anticipate the number of family road? Who's letting AAA know they're off to Nani's condo for the holiday? We spent a lot of time questioning vaccines. No one ever raises an eyebrow about this.
They're losing too many people.
Have you heard this audio that Bloomberg has of Witkoff coaching the Russians on how to appeal to you?
Well, I haven't heard it, no, but that's a standard thing, because he's got to sell this to Ukraine. He's got to sell Ukraine to Russia. That's what a deal maker does. You got to say, look, they want this. You got to convince them with this. That's a very standard form of negotiation. I haven't heard it, but I heard it was standard negotiation. And I would imagine he's saying the same thing to Ukraine, because each party has to give and take.
So you're not worried that he's too pro-Russian?
No, I think, look, this war could go on for years, and Russia's got a lot more people, got a lot more soldiers, So I think if Ukraine can make a deal, it's a good thing. I think it's great for both. Frankly, I think it's great for both. But Ukraine's got it's much smaller. It's a much smaller group of people. They've lost a lot of people. Russia's lost a lot of people, but Russia has a much bigger pool of people.
I think it's important to note that Donald Trump is actually the worst deal maker. He's not a builder, he's a destroyer. Just think about all the companies he's bankrupted, casino after casino, company after company in his past. Heck, if you don't want to look at his past, why don't you look at his present? The Trump meme coin has crashed, Trump media has crashed, and he's doing the same thing with our economy, and that's what pisses me off so much.
By March 2017, Arnold quit Celebrity Apprentice, and he didn't mince words about why. He told Empire magazine, "With Trump being involved in the show, people have a bad taste and don't want to participate as a spectator or as a sponsor or in any other way support the show. It's a very divisive period now, and I think this show got caught up in all that division." Trump immediately tweeted that Arnold was fired by his bad, pathetic ratings, not by me. Sad end to great show. And that's when Arnold delivered one of the all-time great comebacks. He tweeted, "I'm still here. Want to compare tax returns at real Donald Trump?" Mic drop. Because everyone knew Trump was the first president since Nixon to refuse to release his tax returns. Arnold just reminded the entire world of that fact with 6 words. Arnold's video attacks go viral. But here's where Arnold really started destroying Trump. He wasn't just trading Twitter insults. He was making full videos that went massively viral and hit Trump where it hurt. His credibility as a strong leader. August 2017. Charlottesville. After that white supremacist rally where a woman was murdered and Trump said there were fine people on both sides, Arnold made a video that was absolutely brutal. He sat at his desk with a Trump bobblehead doll and said, "There are not two sides to bigotry, and there are not two sides to hatred. And if you choose to march with a flag that symbolizes the slaughter of millions of people, there are not two sides to that."
Thanksgiving week is also the worst week of the year for plumbers. The day after Thanksgiving is known to shoppers as Black Friday. It's known to plumbers as Brown Friday. That is not a joke. That's for real. So many people get their toilets clogged. They gave it a name, Brown Friday. It actually goes back a long way to the first Thanksgiving, and you can see if you look closely at this painting, because you can see that little girl. She celebrated the first Brown Friday. She's needing to go to the bathroom so bad, she's waiting for someone to invent it. But I, for one, choose to embrace Brown Friday. Is it repulsive? Yes, it is. But it also reminds me of what we have in common. One nation, under God, living in a country with such a plentiful bounty, we can eat to the point where our toilets are so full professionals need to be called in.
It pisses me off that he hurt so many employees and there have been so many victims of his cons, but now it's the American people who have been victimized by this. And now I just wanted to talk briefly about that Bloomberg report. Everybody should read this article. You take a look at this transcript of this October 14th call between Witkoff and Putin's top aide, Yuri Yushakov, and you have Steve Witkoff saying this, "Now, me to you, Yuri. I know what it's going to take to get a peace deal done. Donetsk and maybe a land swap somewhere." The hell are you talking about? You want to take away Ukrainian land and give it to Russia? How about this right here? Yushakov to Dmitriev. Remember how we've been for weeks here on the Midas Touch Network reporting about Kirill Dmitriev, the head of Russia's sovereign wealth fund, who's been hanging out in Miami at the Faina Hotel with the MAGA Republican Congress members. And we said that he was the guy, along with Yushakov, who laundered that 28-point Russian surrender plan to Ukraine that Trump gave and basically translated. You've seen our reporting on it. Well, it's confirmed.
Arnold was there to call it out. And when Arnold spoke, people listened. Because he's a self-made man. He's a Republican who put country over party. He's someone who actually built something instead of just inheriting it. And Kimmel, he provided the platform. He asked the questions. He gave Arnold the stage to deliver those knockout punches to millions of viewers. The October 2023 weight roast is the moment everyone remembers because it was so perfectly timed and so devastatingly funny. But the real destruction happened over years. Video after video, interview after interview, with Arnold systematically dismantling Trump's carefully constructed image of strength and success. Trump called himself the ratings machine and a stable genius. Arnold showed the world he was a little wet noodle who lied about everything from his weight to election results to his TV ratings. And you know what the most brutal part is? Trump could never effectively fight back because you can't out-masculine Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can't out-succeed an immigrant who became the biggest action star in the world and then governor of California. And you can't win a truth-telling contest when you've been caught in thousands of documented lies. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel and Arnold Schwarzenegger destroyed Donald Trump on live TV, but more importantly, they showed that sometimes the loudest voices aren't the strongest ones. Sometimes real strength is telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes real patriotism is putting country before party, and sometimes the best way to defeat a bully is just to call out their lies with a smile and watch them crumble. Before you go, make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. And if you want more content exposing the real stories behind Trump's biggest feuds, check out our playlist in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.